Good morning and welcome to everyone in the US. Welcome to Mozart Cultures in the US. I have a special guest today. Let me add him. So yes, Mozart Cultures is interviewing high achievers in America. One of them is Social Varsity, Heston. He has been on Instagram coaching. He has been quite successful in coaching on Instagram. He gives a lot of tips on how to get your accounts moving on Instagram, and he's been on it for a long time. I thought today we will interview him. Let me talk about, Well, until he does, let me talk about Instagram. Thank you for joining us today. I know a lot of you have been on this platform for a while, and I know that you wish to know a little more about the algorithm. You might even wish to have someone who actually knows what it means to be on Instagram, what it means to get followers, what it means to actually be consistent in content. And our agenda today is basically consistency. I am interviewing someone called Heston. Francisca, hi. Interviewing someone called Heston who is Social Varsity. There he is. And he has been in the game for quite a while. Let me add him. There we go. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, good morning. Well, it's good
Hi,
morning over
Heston. How are you
here.
doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm really good. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh,
This
yes,
is
my
exciting.
pleasure.
I have been wanting to interview you for quite a while.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Well, Germany has it's a little dark today. But I hope you can see me well. I see
I
you as
do.
well.
I do.
And yes, I'm really excited that Mozart Cultures is interviewing you because we are looking for successful but also really driven people in the US. This is Mozart Cultures US. So that's also the reason, the reason this is really exciting. Also, what I really wanted to ask was basically you do a lot on Instagram.
I try.
Yes, and today's agenda, everyone, is consistency, and it is as well staying motivated and content. It is on these topics that I wanted to ask you just a few questions. And basically, when it comes to consistency, you are very consistent, and I see you're also very driven. How do you keep that up? How does that work?
I wonder that myself sometimes. The consistency with Instagram, it's the secret sauce in a way. You know, everybody says you have to post like this and you have to post this many or you have to engage. But honestly, the consistency is the most important part because if you're not consistent, you're never going to get to that point of true success. And we all start from somewhere. Everybody has something in common. We all start with 0 followers. But if we stay consistent with what we're doing with our output of content, we could actually improve that 0 followers to maybe 100 and then 1,000 and then maybe 10,000. But you won't really know unless you stay consistent. So I always say you should develop a plan that you're comfortable with in the beginning. If you think you're comfortable posting 3 posts a week, then do that. You know, make sure your audience gets enough out of you so that they keep coming back. I'm actually currently posting 6 times a week at the moment. I do 3 carousel posts and 3 reels. I'm testing it out for this month, and I have to say so far so good, but it is a little daunting, I will admit. So I'll see how the month turns out. But I'm at the moment, I have scheduled the stuff out ahead of time. So it's a little bit easier. I'm not creating it the day of.
You have, am I right to believe that, not to believe, am I right to say that you have content for a whole year? Is that right?
On one of my accounts, I have actually done that. Yeah, I've done it numerous times. Now, that's a theme page. It is not a
Mm,
personal page. It's actually a motivational page related to fitness. FitFam Quotes is the account. And
mm,
every day I
mhm,
post at least one message of something fitness related that's inspiring and positive. But because it's a theme page, I could
mhm.
plan out an entire year's worth of content and schedule it. I use an app called Later. So I use that app and I'm actually able to actually schedule Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as far ahead
Wow.
as you want with Later. Later's a great program to do this with. But you can't
Note
do that
that.
with every you can't do that with every account. You know, if you have a personal account, I wouldn't advise that.
Okay, that's actually amazing for everyone listening here. Hello, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. Heston, there's also another question I wanted to ask, and basically, starting out with all this, you know a lot about Instagram. I mean, I can even tell just listening to you, you know a lot about like how it works and what is required to get the followers or to get even people just listening. Because followers is not that important, I hear, but it's more about what you give and what you basically have, what value you give in your post, your content. Starting out, like, what would you say? How did you start to kill and continue like when you're the very beginning of starting out with you, was it difficult, was it like, or was it all clear to you from the beginning, okay, this is what I have to do? Did you do research or did you just start?
All,
you know
all of the above in a way. I had to do my research. I had to figure out a plan, like I said, that I'm comfortable with
okay.
outputting. Because once you start outputting a certain amount, your audience that start to grow is going to kind of expect that from you. So you have to
Mhm.
make sure whether maybe it's 2 posts a week, and maybe you put out more IG stories instead. You should be comfortable with whatever you decide initially in the beginning, but you do have to kind of figure out things before you actually create your first post. Like, what is your topic? On Instagram, we call it a niche. What is your niche that you want to kind of focus on? And
Mm.
you should select a niche, because if you don't, you're kind of just a general page. And when your audience goes to your page, they won't
Yeah.
know what to expect. So if you're a
Mhm.
page that, your niche is cats, great, post all about cats, because then you're going to get that target audience of people that can relate to you that also have an interest in cats. So you want to make sure you choose something first initially and then start to plan a
Yeah.
content strategy around it. Is it going to be
Uh-huh.
only posts? Is it going to be reels and carousels? Decide
Mhm.
that initially. And it's all experimental. That's what
Yeah.
social media is technically experimental. You want to try new things and see what works. If it works, great, do more of it. If it doesn't, fall back or completely
Yeah.
remove it from your content strategy. So
Absolutely.
one of the best
Eh,
things you want to do though is have fun with whatever you
yeah,
decide.
and you do have fun, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely. Matt, do you do one-to-one coachings? How does it work with coaching? Like, tell me more about Social Varsity. Is it a social media coaching, or do you do one-to-one, or what's the system?
I kind of do a little bit of both.
Mm,
I specialize in social media management, so there's different packages that I would, provide for my clients, whether they want me to do all of the management on their social media platforms. If they want to create the content and I help them schedule it, like I said, I'm able to schedule out for an entire year. So I have a little bit more experience with that.
mm,
So it really depends on what the client wants. I also
mm.
do a little bit of coaching and consultation with Instagram strategy and best practices, because let's face it, Instagram is changing all the time.
Yes,
Prior to three
absolutely.
weeks, we were told you should put 30 hashtags on every post,
Yes.
and now they say it's between 8 and 15. These things change all the time, and part of my job is to stay up to date on that and provide that information in the best way possible to my clients.
Nice, absolutely. And that's really a full-time investment as well. So, since we have a little bit left, like not so many minutes left, let me ask you one last thing. Uh, what is the three things that you would advise everyone on Instagram to do if they wish to come forward from the point they're in?
Three things. All right.
Mhm.
We spoke about one already, and I think it's the
Yes.
most important: consistency.
Yeah,
You have to
consistency.
be consistent.
Yeah.
Create a plan and be consistent with it. it doesn't have to be concrete. It can be flexible because you might
Mhm.
say initially you only put in out three, but when you put out that 3 week and your audience wants more, you might have to adjust to probably add a fourth post per week. So it's good to start a plan and be consistent with it, but make sure it's flexible enough that you could grow with. The second thing is we also spoke about choose a niche. You want to make sure you have a topic that not only that you have experience with, but that you like, that you enjoy. I mentioned cats. If you're not a cat
Yes.
person, don't post about cats. You
Yes.
wouldn't want to do that for the long run, so you want to generally choose a niche that you're comfortable with and that you enjoy. Because if
Mm.
this actually does take off, you're kind of stuck with that niche. You
Yes.
can't,
You want to it. Yeah.
is that you wouldn't want to kind of switch it halfway because you'll lose your audience. And the
Absolutely.
third that many people actually forget about is to just engage. You have to engage with your audience. You have to engage with those that aren't your audience yet because social media is being social. You have to go out there and actually engage with people just as much as you want them to engage with you. So you go to their post, like, leave thoughtful comments, not just emojis. Leave thoughtful
Mm.
comments that possibly end with a question so that you start a conversation, you start a discussion, and maybe even more people that follow that post might actually join in because then they might actually follow you. They might go to your page and say, oh, this guy had an interesting comment. Let me see what their page is all about. So I would say engage is one of the most important things that you should do.
Thank you. For those who don't know, Heston engaged so much on Instagram that he has been blocked by Instagram. I don't know how I don't know how much you have to engage for that to happen. I have no
It
idea. I didn't
it
even know that was
happens.
possible.
It happens. Sometimes when you engage so much, they might think that you're a bot. And I respect Instagram to that degree. If they're trying to protect us from bots, I totally understand. I've learned my lesson. I did my time in IG jail, and I'm doing right by the community now. I got my get out of jail free card.
Amazing. Now you can socialize again. Is that right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
amazing. Yes, thank you. And I also wanted to ask where can we find you other than Instagram? Do you have a website? Is that coming up? What's the plan?
The website is coming. Um, it's a work in progress. That's
Mhm.
always been a work in progress. But I am generally always on Instagram. You can find me there easily at social.varsity. As I
Mhm.
also mentioned, I do have that other theme page because I'm very much into fitness. Actually,
Yeah.
just came from the gym and I still have my gym headphones on. So I'm very much into fitness. You can find me also at Fit Fam Quotes. Very motivational fitness quotes. But other than that, I'm always on IG. I'm not too far away. You could DM me, and you will be. I will have some news coming up this week
Yeah.
about a new project that I'm working on. I'm very excited for it. So stay tuned to that as well.
Amazing. I can't wait for that. Everyone, Heston Social Varsity on Mozart Cultures. We will be posting on everything you said. And for all those who couldn't join the live, this will be posted later with the links that you mentioned as well. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a great one.
Have a great one. Take care.
Bye.